Good morning. All right, lesson 11. Lesson 11 is nice. It is pretty simple, but it covers a lot of basic stuff about polynomials. So, understanding polynomials, first of all, poly just means many. So, polynomials is either a single term or many terms. Okay? And now they're going to cover, with a polynomial, they're going to cover 5 things. Okay? So the first thing we're going to cover is standard form. Standard form is when we write a polynomial in descending order of exponents. Okay? And I will show you what I mean by that in a second. So for example, x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 6x minus 5. So let's look at those exponents. Notice it should be each of these is in descending order, 4, 3, 2, 1, and technically that last term has an invisible x to the 0, but x to the 0 equals 1, so it is in perfect descending order. So that's the first thing, standard form. The next is something called degree. Degree is your largest exponent. So for example, same polynomial, x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 6x minus 5. It has a degree of 4 because it's the largest exponent. Okay, so that is the second thing this lesson covers. Next, goes over leading coefficient. Okay, and all that means is first coefficient. Now, a coefficient doesn't include the letter or the variable. It's just the number in front. So don't ever write a letter when we're talking about coefficient. Coefficient refers to the number in front of an x. So for example, same polynomial, x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 6x minus 5. There is an invisible 1 right here. And that, my friends, is your leading coefficient. So my LC is 1. Now, I use LC because leading coefficient has a million numbers, and I don't want to write them all. So I will write LC for leading coefficient. Next thing this covers is terms. Now, terms are separated by a plus or minus sign. Okay? Terms should be like x or 6x or 3 or 2. So, for example, x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 6x minus 5. Now we're covering terms. So this is how you count terms. Ignore the plus or minuses. Your terms should be what's in between. So these are your terms. And if I count them up, this polynomial, that's what I should have wrote, this polynomial has 5 terms, okay? Because I counted them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has 5 terms. Last thing that this section covers is, and these are good notes, guys. You're welcome. The constant. And the constant is, technically, it's the term that is constant, or the term that doesn't have a variable. Whoops, I spelled that wrong. So, for example, the same polynomial that I've used in every single problem above. This last term does not have a variable, or think of it as a letter next to it. So I would say the constant is -5. So none of this is hard stuff, and we're not even doing math in this section, but you do need to know these 5 things. You need to know how to write it in standard form, how to find degree, what's my leading coefficient, how many terms do I have, and what is my constant. So we're going to practice that. I think I only do 2 examples with you, and then we will move on, because I need you to be able to do this well. So number 1, we're going to do all 5. So x minus 5 plus 4x squared plus 2x to the 5th minus x squared. So the first thing they want, standard form. Then degree. Then identify my leading coefficient. Then how many terms do I have? And last, what is my constant? Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Let's write this in order, starting with the term that has the largest exponent. So 2x to the 5th. Then I would combine like terms. These are alike, but that is the next highest exponent after 5. It goes from 5 to 2. So plus 3x squared. Then this term of just x, and last minus 5. So there is standard form. And let me write this so the 5 looks better. Okay, degree is the largest exponent, so my degree is 5. My leading coefficient is 2. It's the number out front, or the very first number, if it's written in standard form. Terms, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4. And my constant, again, is -5, because that's the only number that doesn't have a variable. Okay. Let's practice that one more time, and then we'll move on. So here is my polynomial, 1/2 y minus y to the 3rd plus 3y to the 4th. So again, write it in standard form. What is my degree? What is my leading coefficient? What is, whoops, after C comes D. What are the number of terms? And finally, what is my constant? Now, you should go in that order because I need to have this in standard form. So standard form would be 3y to the 4th minus y to the 3rd plus 1/2 y. Degree is my largest exponent, so that would be the 4. My LC, if given the first term, it should be the number out front, so 3. Terms, I have 1, 2, 3. And my constant, I don't have a constant. There is no constant in this problem. There's no number that doesn't have a variable. Moving on, the next part of this lesson covers how to add and subtract polynomials, and I'm going to only do one of each because it should be review. To add and subtract polynomials, I'm simply going to combine like terms. Okay, remember, like terms have to have the same exponent. Okay, so here we go. Again, I'm only going to do 2 examples of that. So the first polynomial is 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus x minus 5 plus 5 minus x squared minus 4x. So this tells me right here that I'm adding these because there's an addition sign in between. So I'm going to start with terms cubed, right, because I need to write this in standard form. There are no other x cubed, so I'm simply going to bring it down. Now I'm going to look at x squareds. I have negative 3x squared and negative x squared. If I add those together, I would have negative 4x squared. I'm now going to look at my x term. So I have a positive 1x minus 4x, that's negative 3x. And then last is my constant. I have negative 5 plus 5, which would be 0. So I don't need to bring it down. So this would be my final answer. Now, a subtraction problem is almost identical. So 5x squared minus 3x plus 2 minus 2x squared minus x plus 4. Now, the subtraction sign affects everything after it. Now, you don't, I put after instead of after. Now, you don't have to do it the way I do it, but I like to distribute it first. So this makes this first term a negative 2x squared, but a negative x makes a positive x, and a negative and a positive 4 make a negative 4. And now I would simply combine like terms. So 5x squared minus 2x squared is 3x squared. Okay? Negative 3x plus x is negative 2x. Positive 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So that is my final answer. So let's do some lesson practice. Which is on page 74. And there's only, a million parts. All right, so part A. They would like us to write the polynomial 3x minus 1 plus 4x to the 4th plus x. They'd like us to write it in standard form. They'd like us to find the LC and the constant. So standard form, I would begin with 4x to the 4th. So it has the largest exponent. Plus, I'm going to combine like terms, so that's 4x minus 1. So in this case, my LC is this front number here. And my constant is negative 1. So those are my answers. Part B would like us to classify the following: negative x cubed by degree and the number of terms. Now, you can give me the proper name, but I think that's a little bit harder to memorize for down the road. So my degree is simply 3, and I only have one term. Okay? Part C would like me to classify x squared plus 40x plus 10 minus 9x squared minus 1. They want to know degree and number of terms. But if you're doing this problem, it needs to be in standard form. So first things first, put it in standard form, which would be negative 8x squared plus 40x plus 9. So notice I had to combine like terms first, okay? And I need it in standard form. Then I can identify that the degree here is 2 and terms are 3. I have, when it comes to terms, it's 3 because I have 1, 2, 3. So there is my answer. All right, now D. I'm adding polynomials, so they said add 2x squared minus 3x to the 5th plus 2x to the 5th minus x squared plus 1. Again, you can pause this. I'm simply going to combine like terms. So I'm going to combine these. Negative 3 and positive 2 make negative 1x squared 5th. 2x squared minus x squared is x squared. And then I just have plus 1. You do not need the 1. Okay, so you can write just negative x to the 5th. Okay. All right, 2 more. I don't know if I'll do the last one. So E, they'd like us to subtract 1 minus x cubed minus x cubed plus 2x squared minus x. Remember, that negative sign affects all 3, so this is a negative x cubed, a negative 2x squared, and a positive x. From there, I'm going to combine like terms. So starting with my x cubes, I have negative 2x cubed. I don't have any other x squared, so negative 2x squared. Negative x and x cancel, and then I have plus 1. Part F, they just wanted us to add, I'm going to skip part F. And that is the end of that lesson. Goodbye.